We've arrived at the Warframe tournament quarterfinals. Only 8 frames remain from our initial 50, and things are getting interesting. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. My name is llBonkll, and this is the 4th video in a series that I've been working on based on a Warframe tournament bracket. Throughout the last few videos, the community has made its decisions through community polls on who is the better overall frame, and the winners of the matchups kept moving on up while other frames were eliminated and forgotten. As we get closer and closer to the champion title, these matchups are getting much more difficult to choose a winner for. Almost every poll has had supporters and people in strong disagreement of the outcome. That's why throughout the video, as I go through the frame matchups, I'll be showing community comments from each poll. This is to give you a good idea of the reasoning of a viewer's vote in case you don't quite understand their point of view. There are a few matchups that I strongly disagree with outcome-wise, but this is a community choice tournament, and the 10 that wanted their opinion out there have made their choices. If you want to be part of voting for the semifinals and the champion bout, the best way to see every poll is to drop a sub. Thank you. Now let's jump into our very first matchup of the quarterfinals. Starting from the right side this time, pulling something of a switcheroo on ya, we have one of the toughest matchups of the whole bracket, with Protea versus Wisp, a cracked support and DPS frame in the form of Protea, against basically another support, nuke-capable frame in the form of Wisp. And who did the community find to be the better overall frame? Well, they chose Wisp by a very large margin. Now, if I'm being honest, my personal opinion is Protea, but again, not up to me. I am extremely surprised by how large of a gap there was in the voting though. Both of these frames are incredible in almost all content, so let's look at a few comments from the viewers, and maybe we can understand the decision a little better. These comments are long, like a few of them were more than a whole paragraph, so I will be summarizing the best I can for a lot of these, while also showing the comment in its entirety on screen in case you want to read the exact words. First comment we have here is a Wisp supporting comment from David DeMayo. Sorry. Very long and concise explanation, so I'll do my best to get his main points across. He states that both frames have so much to offer in the form of support, CC, and damage capability. But Protea's 2 needs a few shots to ramp up. Her 3 is her subsume, and her 4 isn't all that useful. Whereas Wisp grants you and your teammates insane amounts of supporting in the form of health regen, fire rate, attack speed, movement, and CC around you, and all of these things can be added onto by the fact that you can put Protea's dispensary on Wisp, allowing for even more support and sacking Wisp's crappy 4. Also, he said Wisp has the best ass. I'm not really sure if that should count when it comes to the voting, but it's there, figured I'd mention that. So yeah, he went with Wisp. I'd like to say I agree with everything, but there are a few counterpoints I'd like to make. First, he allowed Wisp to get a subsume in his reasoning, but said that Protea has a crappy 4 without offering a change for her. Another thing is the ramping damage with her 2. It doesn't take very long at all, and with the new Archon mod, it's doing insane damage pretty much off activation. So, all those strong points, there are a few things I'm not sure I would fully agree with. Good comment anyway, Davi. Next up, I'm going to show more of a debate type thing that happened in the comments of this post between 2 people both putting their thoughts out there. It began with a comment from Logan. He chose Protea as his pick, and his reasoning was the fact that Wisp is only good for her support, and he sees her 2 and her 4 as completely useless. But Protea, on the other hand, provides both support and damage. Now that's a very quick overview of the points from Logan, but they are the main ones that resulted in a response from Voidesh. Voidesh here is an obvious proponent of the Wisp win, and he states that Wisp's 2 is in fact not useless, allowing her to gain IV frames that can save you from anything. As well as that, her 4, he says, should be replaced with a helmet ability like Dispensary, same thing as our first commenter, like he said the exact same thing. He also talks about how strong Wisp's 3 is, allowing for insane amounts of damage. All that said, it seems that when it comes to this matchup, I see it as, if they're allowed to use a helmet, the Wisp wins. But if not, more Protea votes would probably have been cast. And it's not like I set rules against helmets making your frame stronger, so I don't think it really matters, and Wisp will be getting this dub and moving on. Good luck in your next matchup, Wisp. Let's move down to the bottom matchup of the right side and find out who will be facing off against Wisp in the next round. This bout is Xaku versus Gauss. Oh boy, this matchup was a rough voting experience. At the moment, this poll has over 1,000 votes and is still sitting at a flat 50-50 across the board. Not a single vote leaning to one side to allow us to pick a winner. So it seems we will have to do a tiebreaker. This tiebreaker I have chosen is going to be who got more support in the comments. I'm going to count all the pro Xaku and pro Gauss comments, and whoever gained more at the point of writing this will be crowned the winner and sent to face off with Wisp. So let's count first Xaku comments. There are 9 pro Xaku comments to be seen here, coming from Omor, Darasta Catman, Phantom, Sci-Fi Freak, That, GGVGG, Logan, Shiroi, and Houndlore. And for Gauss, we only have 4 comments, coming from Demono, llBonkll, Mason Grant, and Braxian. So, it looks like the winner here will be the Skelly Boy and one of my favorite frames, Xaku. So why don't we actually look at the comments from both sides, starting with the loser of this bout, Gauss. Well, you know what? I'll just show all 4 of Gauss's comments because not a single one really explains their decision. I mean, I guess George said that because he's fast, and that was about as detailed as it got. So, now let's move on to the Xaku comments. There's a few I'd like to show as they all illustrate a main point behind most players' decisions to pick Xaku. These comments come from Shiroi, GG, and Sci-Fi Freak, and all 3 of these comments make the point of Xaku's insane power potential compared to Gauss. As well, GG specifically makes the point of how Gauss has suffered since the ammo nerfs, and there was a few other comments that also mention the ammo nerfs. So it seems like Xaku has more power potential, and since the ammo nerfs, Gauss has taken a strong hit to his capability. So Xaku will be moving on ahead, and sadly, Gauss has lost. Alright, back to the top left side of the bout, 2 more powerhouses. Just like the last few matchups, a cat with the capabilities beyond the red crit and a cowboy that goes burr and clears rooms in seconds without aim being a priority. And between these 2 nutty frames, only one can move ahead. And today, you and your fellow players have made the decision that the Yeehaw aimbot lady will be that frame. I'm very surprised Khora lost, but I'm happy too, because I like Cowboy Lady way better. Surprisingly, this poll was not super close. It wasn't a devastation for Khora or anything, but it's not as close as I would have thought it was going to be. That didn't stop some Khora players from making their point. So let's look at the comments. I'm going to show a single comment for this one as I think it's a good view into both sides of the argument and points out strengths for each frame. And who made this comment? Well, who else but Eric? A commenter featured in all of these videos so far, I think. And he just makes good points, what can I tell you? Now, it's a very big comment, and I only want to focus on around the first half of it, as the second half is more just his choice. Whereas at the top, he makes more of an open-ended point. He states that both frames are very good at deleting enemies as soon as you see them, but Mesa has more range and omnidirectional capability when it comes to that killing power. Whereas, on Khora's side, she's able to defend herself way better with her own CC abilities, and she's a premier shield gating frame. Along with both of those things, she also gets that extra support from Vanari. And finally, the biggest point of his, and the one that I think you guys should take away from this, is as follows. Mesa is better in open plains, Khora wins in enclosed environments. A great way to look at it in my opinion. And with that, let's slap Mesa on into her spot in the next round and move on to our final matchup of the video. And one where I'm thinking I might have to make an executive decision. Ashe versus Nidus. These 2 frames are both good, don't get me wrong, but one of them is just better, and it's a fact. Nidus is the winner of the poll here by a huge amount, but really, how? Ashe is factually better. Nidus has survival and maybe some mini nukes if you want to think of them like that, but that's about it, and it relies on your team not ruining your stacks. Ashe has stealth, which also means buffed melees. He has a room clear with his 4, and 100% armor strip that is an ability that takes like barely any energy. I really hope Nidus had some comments to explain this one, or I'm gonna be the one riding. And what do you know? Every comment pretty much except one agrees with me that this is a devastating blow to the reputation of this tournament. There are so many comments saying that Ashe should not be losing, and definitely not by that huge of a gap. So, this is what I'm gonna do. Ashe wins. I'm making an executive decision because it's my video and you can't stop me. Instead of Nidus, Ashe will be moving on. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be doing this ever again, but my opinions along with the crazy amount of comments that agreed with me just showed me that this was the right choice. Nidus got like 1 comment and it was that he can nuke, so once again I'll state that Ashe is the winner. Let's look at a few of those Ashe comments to make this decision a little easier to understand. First we have a guy that just says you're drunk if you think Ashe should lose to Nidus, and okay man, interesting take. Next, there's a comment from That again, and he states that Ashe should win because his armor strip, millions of damage from his 4, and all Nidus can do is survive, and with a team that doesn't always work out because of them ruining your stacks. And finally, we have a comment from Erratic that says Ashe is an ADHD frame, and people who don't like his quick playstyle are the ones who voted Nidus. Okay. But other than that, there are many more comments for Ashe, so I think I'm just gonna stop with the comments now. Look guys, I'm sorry I broke my own rules going against the community vote, but please, Ashe is better. I refuse to allow Nidus to be the frame that kicks him out. Nidus is a super strong frame and made his way here by defeating some other very strong frames, but no way he beats Ashe. No effing way, man. I'm sorry. And so Ashe will be moving on and facing off with Mesa in the next round. And that marks the end of our 4th round of quarterfinals of the Warframe tournament. Here's the newly updated full bracket, and as you guys can see, we have a few powerhouse matchups on their way, so make sure you get your 2 cents in there. Other than that, I have a Discord that will be linked down below called the Aviator Legion. Anyone's welcome, come hang out. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, leaving a like would be super appreciated, maybe even drop a sub. Play Xaku 24/7 to cure any ailment, and good night.